Okay folks, I want to talk to you tonight for just a little bit, and I wanted to affirm to you my commitment to always look for ways to continuously improve these videos. And I've been doing this now for almost a year, and I will say it has been a learning process. Prior to this, I was new to YouTube and new to making these type of videos for YouTube. But like I said, I will always be seeking ways to continually improve the quality of these videos. And to that end, I was looking at some of the other boat build channels on YouTube, and I was looking at the channels that draw the most viewers, or draw larger numbers of viewers, I should say. And I noticed a couple of things. The first thing I noticed is that the videos that draw, or the channels that draw larger numbers of viewers, the videos on those channels tend to be anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes in length, and that's it. And anything more than that, and then what I noticed is that the number of views tends to go down. And of course, my last 3 videos have been quite a bit longer than that. So that's one of the things that I'm going to look to improve upon. And then the other thing I noticed in some of those channels is that the hosts of those channels, they tend to show more of the detail work. In other words, they'll show more of the cutting and the sawing and the installing fasteners and gluing and bonding. And again, that's an area where I'm going to try to make some improvements. Now, that does come with challenges, because to show more details, of course, you think, well, okay, it's kind of counterintuitive there. If you're going to show more details, it's going to take more time. So what that means is probably, yes, I'm going to try to show you more of the detail work, more of the intricate details of this build. But that means too that I'm going to have to start dividing up these little projects on the boat build here. I'm going to have to divide them up into shorter length videos. And again, that's just to kind of try and limit the length of the videos to about 10 to 15 minutes. Trust me, I get it. I watch YouTube videos also, and very seldom will I ever click on one that's more than 20, 25 minutes in length. So I completely understand. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm always looking for ways to improve the quality of these videos, and like I said, it's been fun. It's like I said, it's been almost a year now. It has been fun, but it has been a learning process, and well, I'm still learning. So until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next segment. Hello folks, welcome back to the John Boat Faith Fishing and For Now Boat Building channel. And I do appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to click on this channel and watch. And what you're looking at right here is the completed structure for the polling platform. I talked about that in the last video. And I've got the stiffeners bonded on, and I also have them fastened with stainless steel screws, just for a little extra peace of mind. And this is the one, of course, for the right side, and the one for the left side is laying here upside down, and I left it that way so I could show you those stiffeners and what I was talking about. They're still clamped, and I'm going to take those clamps off here in just a moment. The glue's dry. They're ready to come off. Clamps are ready to come off. And same thing. I use the stainless steel screws. Like I said, it just gives me a little extra peace of mind. And so they're done. They're ready to bond in. I'm going to bond these to the boat with the thickened epoxy. And I will show you that in a later segment. Okay, so what you see there is a little cleat that I'm bonding to that rib extension. And the reason for that is I want just a little bit more surface area. Take a look at this folding platform structure here. I want a little bit more surface area for this piece to rest on when I go to bond it in. I don't want to just set it on top of that rib. And yeah, I'll fess up, I think I might have cut just a little bit too deep right here, but that's easily repairable. And so I'm just going to bond a cleat to the back side to set this on. And then I've got to bond another one to the front side because I've got to get spun around here. I've got to run 3/4 by 3/4 strip from here to that front rib extension right there that I'm pointing to. And that is to give my cap something to attach to out here, rather than just having them in open space. And again, that's to reduce the possibility of sagging, and then plus it also gives the side skins an attachment point that will run the full length of the top of those rib extensions. So that's what that's all about. That's all I can do for tonight. I got to wait for this glue to dry, and so that's it until tomorrow morning. We will see you in next segment. Okay folks, welcome back. Thank you again for watching. This is what I have going on today. I needed to come in here at the tops of these extensions right here, and I needed to bond some little pieces on top of these extensions so I would have a nice straight line, a nice straight flat plane to bond the caps on. And remember, I said this is not the cap. This is going to go under the cap that's going to go up on top of the gunnel here. And I needed to bond some little pieces of cypress in place so that I would have a just a nice straight line from here. This is the bulkhead. Let me get a little bit more of a wide angle shot there. So I needed a nice straight line from here all the way across the tops of these extensions, all the way to the structure here for the polling platform, and then I have to do the same thing for the other side. And I've got my straight, as straight as I can get it, straight edge set up over there. It's a fairly straight board. It's not completely perfect, but I think it's straight enough for what I'm doing here, and did have a little tiny bit of a twist to it, but I was able to correct that with these clamps. So I've just got it clamped in place, and what I'll do is I'll just take those little blocks and well, let's see, I don't have one. Don't have one handy. Okay, pretend this is one of those little square blocks right here. So what I'm doing is I'm just bringing those blocks up from underneath, and they're just making contact with this board right here. And I just bond them in place with the Gorilla Glue. So that's what I've got going on right now. A little tedious, a little time consuming, but it'll be well worth it. And again, once I get that done, get this cap bonded in place, at that point then I should be able to get this boat flipped over and get the hull bonded on. And like I said, the reason I'm doing that is because I just have a lot of movement here, and in addition to stabilizing these extensions so that they don't twist when I go to bond the hull on, I was also afraid that they were going to flop around and maybe get broken. So I just wanted to go ahead and get those caps on and just go ahead and give them a little bit more strength and just stabilize them so that they're not doing this. Alright, I will see you in the next segment. Okay, this is what I was talking about. I'm just going to bring these little pieces of 3/4 by 3/4 cypress up to the bottom of this straight edge, bond them in place. And it looks like I might have cut these off just a little bit short. That's about 1/8 of an inch gap right there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. And this will correct that. And like I said, I'll just bring that up to the bottom of the straight edge, bond it in place, make whatever correction I need to make right there on that little notch right there on that piece of plywood. I'll probably have to add a little shim right here to bring this up like I did on the other side. I've already done that. And that'll take care of that, and it'll give me a nice level surface to bond the cap on. Okay, stay tuned. Okay folks, welcome back. And got those little pieces bonded onto the tops of the rib extensions there, just like I did over here on the right side. Left side looks like the right side now. I've got these little pieces bonded in, and that's just going to give me a little bit more surface area to bond the cap to when I get those made. I'll show you a little change that I'm making up here at the bow. And let me find that piece here real quick. Wouldn't you know it, I just set it down. I decided to make some little pieces here to kind of dress up the corners, and that's not completed yet. I am going to trim the top of that so that it's straight and level with the front of the bow there. That's just roughed in, but it's going to kind of sit in there like so, kind of at an angle. I'm going to have to make a little gusset to go across here to bond that to. And in addition to dressing up the front of the boat and just kind of breaking up that one line right there where you see my thumb, I think it'll also make it just a little bit easier to attach these side skins to the boat. It'll, I think it'll be a little bit less bending, a little bit less twisting on that little piece of plywood that I'm going to lay in here, and once I get it to that stage. So that's what I've got going on. Not much else. I'm just going to let that glue dry overnight on those pieces that I bonded in. I mean, I could take the clamps off right now. It's dry enough. It's set up enough to where I could, but nah, you know, it's late at night, and we'll let them stay there till tomorrow. All right, that's all I have for you tonight, and we'll be back next segment. Okay folks, welcome back, and that is going to do it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up in the interest of keeping the runtime short and making these videos a little more viewer friendly. I will feature the bow modification and the completion of the poling platform structure in upcoming videos. I still have to get that poling platform structure bonded to the boat. Like I said, I'll show you that in a future video. For tonight, I want to read to you from the book of Genesis in chapter 11. And starting in verse 1, the Word of God says, "At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words." And this is from the New Living Translation. "As the people migrated to the east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia," and some Bible translations say Shinar, "and they settled there. They began saying to each other, 'Let's make bricks and harden them with fire.' In this region, bricks were used instead of stone, and tar was used for mortar. Then they said, 'Come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world.' But the Lord came down to look at the city and the tower the people were building. 'Look,' he said, 'the people are united, and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other.' In that way, the Lord scattered them all over the world, and they stopped building the city. And that is why the city was called Babel, because that is where the Lord confused the people with different languages. In this way, he scattered them all over the world." Now, the problem is not that they were building a city with this great tall tower that reached toward the heavens. The problem was their obsession with building the tower and building this city. They became so focused on building this tower to reach up to the heavens that they completely forgot about God. And this is something that people are still doing today. Yes, I said, you heard right. People still do these things today. It's called idolatry. Idolatry, it's not just bowing down and worshiping a carved image like the people of Israel did when Moses went up on Mount Sinai to receive the Ten Commandments from God. Idolatry is when we allow anything that we're passionate about to become the central focus of our lives, when we allow those things to take the place of God in our lives. Now, I used to go to a lot of classic car shows, and I remember watching people. They just spent hours and hours just polishing and shining these cars, you know, every square inch, from the engine bay to the trunk and everything in between. And they just spent hours doing that. And I know from my own experience that, you know, that can be, it's an enjoyable hobby, but it's a costly hobby. It can cost tens of thousands of dollars to restore those cars, you know, even if you do a lot of the work yourself. And at one time, I was restoring a 1971 Chevelle, and regrettably, I had some financial issues come up, and I had to sell that car before I was able to complete that restoration. But it's very easy to tie up a lot of money in those cars. Now, with all that said, I want to emphasize that there is nothing wrong whatsoever with having a hobby. Nothing wrong with it at all. There's nothing wrong with restoring old cars. I still enjoy going to car shows whenever I can. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about things like that. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about fishing or hunting, or, you know, in my case, boat building, or just whatever it may be that you're passionate about. You know, we are made in the image of God, and He created us with skills and abilities that allow us to engage in the hobbies and the activities that we're passionate about. But if we let those things take over our lives, if we allow the things that we're passionate about to become the central focus of our lives, then that becomes a problem. And especially when those things displace God as the object of our worship. And, you know, that's not just limited to hobbies. You know, that can be anything. That can include your jobs. That can include obsessing over our bank accounts. They can even include something as seemingly mundane as cheering for our favorite sports teams. And if any of those things become an obsession, so much so that God gets pushed aside, then those things become idols. However, that's not to say that God cannot use the things we're passionate about for ministry, because He can, and He does. We just need to make sure we don't cross the line and allow those things to become idols for us. We must always keep God at the center of our lives, and we must always keep our hearts and our minds and our focus on God. Folks, that's my message for you tonight. And again, I thank you for watching this video. And as always, be blessed, behave, and it is time for me to be gone. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you happen to be watching this. Remember, God loves you, and have a safe and blessed week.